Hey guys, today we're going to be talking about The Five Doctors, a fan edit of The Five Doctors. I think it's by Whoflix, I believe was the name of it. One of my, one of my patrons on Patreon, as a fan request, as a Patreon request, because some of my top tiers do get requests they can make per month, different numbers depending on the tiers, and Unknown289 requested that I talk about Whoflix's fan edit of The Five Doctors, which is different. It's actually very, very different. Some of it's just the editing, like some scenes that are normally one long scene, he breaks up into other scenes, which does help with pacing in some points. I did notice little things being cut out. Sometimes things I like the first Doctor eating the little egg sandwich or whatever it is he's eating, or muffin or whatever that is. And I always thought that was weird that was there. But it does break up scenes sometimes to where they make a little more sense. I've always felt it was weird when the second Doctor and the Brigadier are walking outside a unit, and it goes from them just starting to talk and catch up to, well, I have to be going, Brigadier. It always felt a little clunky. They do a little, a little bit different stuff there with viewpoints to make that work a little better. Some of the editings are a little clunkier, but it is different. I also like, I think it's interesting, the planet that they're on at the beginning, the Fifth Doctor and Tegan and Turlough, which is supposed to be the kind of Harmony-like planet, has a kind of magenta pinkish hue to it now, like it's through a filter, which is interesting and different and does give the planet a little more of an alien feel. I think I prefer the original way better, but it was neat to see it taken like that. The images of the little action figures that are done of the Doctor when they're being placed on the board, now they're being placed on the board in a computer, which is nice. And then the figures that they use in the episode, the kind of statues that don't look too great, have been replaced by more modern action figures you can buy in stores that are articulated. That was a nice little amusing thing. Like, for a fan edit, it works really well. And this fan edit really is like this. Like, if they actually did a serious edit like this, it wouldn't work. But as a fan edit, it's a lot of fun, and I enjoy some of the stuff they do with it. And I like how they totally redo how they use the Fourth Doctor. Instead of using little bits from Shada in that one scene, they use bits from State of Decay to make it look like he's actually there in the story. There may be some other episodes from the beginning, I forget. They basically used the Fourth Doctor from season 18. And he does actually crop up in the story in different scenes, because it takes State of Decay and basically sets it on Gallifrey in the time zone. And it actually has the little starship tower sitting right next to Rassilon's Great Tower. It's neat. It's different. It does change the viewing experience. And we get more of the Fourth Doctor in the story. And now the only reason he's not there with the others is because he gets caught up in the events with the village and what's going on in State of Decay. But it does actually have him throughout the episode as he's trying to solve what's going on there. So it's nice to have Tom really in the Five Doctors in this one, which is pretty neat. And he even pops up when the Time Lords or the Doctors are all focusing on Rassilon at one point. He even briefly appears like he's also mentally connected, helping, which was pretty neat. That scene has actually really changed when the Doctor is under Barusa's mental control and the other Doctors are trying to focus and bring him on. It actually starts playing the music from Maldron Undead. When the Brigadier is remembering and getting his memories back, it starts playing that music, and then it starts actually showing flashbacks to previous episodes, just like in Maldron Undead. It's a neat way to interpret that scene. I think I like the original way better, but it is a neat reinterpretation of that scene, even though they did cut out the bit when he first starts mind controlling Five. The scene when Five discovers Barusa's behind it has been edited down a little bit. I do think this uses some of the edit from the 95 special edition, like the time scoop is the Mr. Whippy effect, which is my least favorite version of that. I much prefer the original effect or the 40th effect. I don't really care for the Mr. Whippy effect. That's just a subjective nitpick. And then the scene when Rassilon is talking to them at the beginning is the special edition with the deeper voice. And once the head appears, it's the transmission version with the not echoey voice, which is interesting. And those are the main things. Also, there's some different music in it. Like, I'd swear there's some music from Logopolis, what sounds like Logopolis at one point. Definitely season 18 music in there. Some of the musical choices are different. Sometimes the musical choices are a little weird, like there's music going on in a scene when there doesn't need to be music, or that music there, it goes on a little too long or starts a little too early. Sometimes the music actually helps, but sometimes it's a little detrimental. It was a fun edit, and it's nice, especially thinking of it as a fan edit. It was nice, you know, it's nice to have alternate ways to view classic stories. I'm big in favor. It's one of the reasons I like the colorization, like the colorization of the War Games, the colorization of the Daleks. As long as these new versions, or even fan edits of stories, are not replacing the originals, like, say, with Star Wars, then I have no problem with them. I enjoy the color version of the Daleks even better than the original, because the original is such a slog to get through. I like the color version of the War Games, though I still prefer the original. I like the color version of the War Games. The colorization is phenomenal on it. And I enjoy omnibus versions of stories, like the Silver Nimbus omnibus was a great watch. The omnibus of Day of the Daleks is a good watch. I still prefer the original versions over them, and of course with Day of the Daleks, the special edition, but it's still nice just for alternate viewing every now and then. And fan edits like this are great because it now gives me a fourth way to watch the Five Doctors. Because I have the transmission version, I have the 95 version, and then I have the 2023 updated 40th anniversary special edition on the season 20 box set, and then I also have this fan-made version. So, and again, this one really does play with things and change them up a bit, so you're getting some different stuff, especially with the Fourth Doctor. And it does edit a few bits out and move some scenes around. Like, I love the scene when the Doctor and Sarah are pinned down with the Raston Warrior, and then it cuts away and does some other scenes, and then it comes back to where they're still hiding from the Raston Warrior to really give the impression they've been hiding from the Raston Warrior for a bit, having to be careful. And I don't think it was paced like that originally, and I like that. I like the idea that they'd been there for a while. So some of the edit stuff they do here is really clever, and I liked it. And of course, I just enjoyed the story in general. I always enjoy the Five Doctors. I love 2 with the Brigadier, 3 with Sarah Jane, how 2 and 3 get on when they're briefly together. I love when, at the end, when Rassilon's like, do you claim immortality? They're all like, no, no, no. I don't think I've ever noticed before that 2 is hiding behind 3. When they're like, no, no, no. You see 2 kind of ducking, peeking out behind 3. I don't know why. I don't think I've ever noticed that before. But I think it's absolutely hilarious. That's just so funny. It's so Troughton, too. And it's hilarious, and I absolutely love it. So, yeah, it was a really fun watch. I enjoyed it, especially thinking of it as a fan edit, because it's, you know, I know it's State of Decay, so, but as a fan edit, it works really, really well, and it's fun, and it gives me another way to view the story. So, the Whoflix, I think it's called, version of the Five Doctors. Have you seen it? What do you think of it? Comment down below and let me know. Don't forget to click the like button and the subscribe button as well. I also have a Patreon. If you would like to support me on that, and then you, at different tiers, you can make fans requests as well for stuff to me you would like me to review. I want to give a shout out to Unknown289, not only for being one of my top tier supporters, but for the recommendation. I also want to give a shout out to Colin Coney and Sam Venning, 2 of my other top tier patrons. I appreciate their support, as I do the support of all of my patrons and my YouTube members. I also have a P.O. box. If there's anything you'd like to send me to look at and review, like these lovely standard edition sets Simon and Colin have been very helpful on. I also have a link to my Amazon wish list down there, and a link to my Amazon UK wish list down there as well. I update those regularly. Check those out. Most importantly, thank you for watching.